Well, I qualified as an environmental health officer in 1996, which seems like a lifetime ago now. And I spent most of my local authority days working in food safety and communicable disease control areas of work. And I stayed there until 2007 in a little local authority called Rhondda and Taff in South Wales. I then joined the Food Standards Agency in 2007 and worked there for 3 years as the head of the incidents branch in Wales. In 2007 to 2010, that was really interesting, finding out about food and feed chain incidents and getting a lot of learning from the Food Standards Agency. I then left to join the Public Health Training Scheme in 2010 and completed that scheme and qualified as a consultant in public health in 2015. Since qualifying as a consultant in public health, I've worked in the area of health protection, where I deal with cases and incidents and outbreaks of infectious disease control, including those related to foodborne infection. The meetings are well organised and well structured. They focus on the key issues of the Regulating Our Future agenda, and they give us an opportunity, and actually we're encouraged to express our views and what we think about the evolution of thinking on the agenda. In my view, they have the right balance of experts around the table and in attendance. And for me, I particularly enjoy hearing from the consumer group representatives and the industry, because they bring a different perspective than I have. I think that the meetings are really useful to provide a common understanding to all of us stakeholders as to where the thinking is progressing to, because the FSA officials are at pains to point out that this is an evolution and that actually the thinking progresses from meeting to meeting, which I think is really helpful. I think I see my role as a critical friend to the FSA. I come from an evidence-based organisation in Public Health Wales, so I think my role is to look at the evidence of effectiveness of what we currently do in terms of food law enforcement and what is proposed in terms of food law enforcement. So I'd see my role as that sort of critical friend. I think my other role is to consider the unintended consequences of any changes to food law enforcement. So things that perhaps others wouldn't think of, because my background and my current area of work is food poisoning and food poisoning outbreaks. So I want to ensure and to keep that high up on the agenda, that there are no unintended consequences that would perhaps mean an increase or a potential increase in food poisoning outbreaks and incidents. Well, I think any new model will need to be robust enough to continue to provide consumer confidence, but flexible enough to move with our changing food industry in the UK, particularly in the light of Brexit. I think there needs to be clarity on what the food regulatory process will be, and there needs to be transparency as well, so that everybody is clear. The regulatory model must be independent, in my view, and it must be adequately resourced. There's no point having it if we don't resource it. Inspections should be robust, but actually it should be fair as well, and it should be an opportunity for industry to ask questions and get advice from the enforcement officer as well. Also, I would have to say, in the role that I'm in, that any regulatory model for food must have the ability to mobilise quickly in order to respond to any food chain or food poisoning outbreak, for example. So there is a need for that agility for any food law enforcement organisation to be able to respond quickly and effectively to, for example, an outbreak of food poisoning.